Module 3 textbook project. Go ahead and load. You'll have 3 attempts if you need to make any changes and resubmit. The left-hand side is the reading if you need the textbook reading, or go ahead right to the start file and go ahead and open. Enable the editing and immediately save it where you save all of your documents for this class. And make sure if you have any parentheses and a number at the end, get rid of them, delete those, backspace to your last letter of your last name. And then it should be 3 underscore update underscore and your last name, and then save. The first thing we're going to do, because right now everything is a Calibri size 11, the font looks to be red. If you want to check, it's the red right here, standard color, but we want it to stand out more. So if you hover over to the far left, the selection area, and click, it selects the whole title. Then you'll go into, it's called text effects, and the one that the book is asking for, if you hover over it, it's called fill blue accent color 1 shadow. Select that. Change the font size to 24. And then the color, if you select this, you'll get red, but we're going to choose green accent 6, but darker 25%. Select the side heading, career connections, and we want this to stand out a little bit more. So what you'll do is you'll use either the mini toolbar or the font group up on the home tab, and this will be size 14. Both bold and italic, and the color for this, the font color, is blue accent 1 but darker 25%. Now if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see another title that was in red and you want it to match this one. So what you can do with it still selected is click the Format Painter brush once, and then if you just click, and you can also click and drag, you'll paint the same formatting font that you just changed on this to this one. Now if you look down, there's 2 more that we could have done, and you could do it one at a time, or if you double click the paintbrush, you could paint more than one at a time. And if you notice, the icon changes to a paintbrush attached to it, and you can see the gray around the paintbrush, so the paintbrush is currently on. And again, you can hold and drag, or you can just point and click. You still have the paintbrush. Then I'll use my scroll wheel and go down to the next one and click again. But be careful, your paintbrush is still on, so you have to click it once to turn it off. Control and the key END takes you to the end of the document. Type prepared by, type your name, followed by a comma, space, and we're going to put today's date, and we're going to do it by clicking the Insert tab button, and over on the far right, this is the icon for Insert Date and Time. We'll select the third option and click OK. Then we'll press Enter, and we want to add a copyright symbol. So still in Insert, select Symbol, and then More Symbols. You have symbols, and you also have special characters. Select Special Characters, and there's Copyright. Make sure you click Insert, and then Close. There's your copyright feature. And then we'll press the space bar and type JCL Talent. And then we'll click the Home tab and press Control Home. Takes us back to the very beginning of the document. Increase your zoom to 120%, and it goes in increments of 10s. And then if your ruler is not showing on your document, click View and check Ruler. So I just took it off, and if I click it on, it shows up like a ruler 1, 2, those are inches, horizontal, and then you also have a vertical ruler on the left hand side. So make sure your ruler is showing. And then we're going to select the 5-line list beginning with webinar. So scroll down a little bit. So you're going to select these 5 lines here, webinar, date, cost. And then what you're going to do is you're going to set tabs in the ruler. And if you want to know what type of tab is it preset for, if you look over on the far left, that's your tab indicator. And right now it's a left tab. And that's what we want. So the left tab, we want it on the 1-inch marker. So with your arrow, point right on the 1-inch marker and then just left click once and you get a tab there. Do the same thing at 3 3/4. So this is 3 1/2. This would be 3 3/4. So again, just click there. The next one though, instead of a left tab, you want it a right tab. So if you hover over to your tab indicator and click, this one is a center tab. And if I click it again, this will be a right tab. And this one is going to go right at the 5-inch marker. And when you click it, you'll left click, you'll see that it's facing the other way. So now what you'll do is deselect so that you're just in front of the W in webinar, and then just actually press on the keyboard above the cap lock, press the tab key, and it's going to move right to that, that setting. And I'm going to just press the down arrow and home, tab, down arrow, home, tab, just so that they're all even. And then I'm going to go to the left of date and press tab, do the same thing for October on all of them. And then the last one, cost. And right in front of the $sign. So if you notice, they're all set up for the tab positions that you have in your ruler. Now select the 5 lines again, and you're looking at it and you're saying, well, you know, the date and cost are too close together. So by selecting it, when we come up to the ruler, we're just going to left click, hold, and drag it to 5 1/2, just to make it a little bit further away. And it moves all the lines because you selected them. Then what we're going to do is not select the first line, but the ones below it. And what we want to do is what's called dot leaders. So you have dots that go across, so it's easier for the eye to read across the column, but we don't want it on the first column titles. Click the Home tab, and there's a paragraph dialog box launcher. Click that. And then on the bottom left of this, choose tabs, and you should have your the 3 tabs you set, one at 1 inch, one at 3.75, 3 1/4, and then we just moved the 5 to 5 1/2. So at the 3.75, click that, and for leader, choose 2, and then click set. Then pick the 5.5, select that, choose leader, you can see that it's a right tab, leaders, and set. I did not do it on the first tab, it's on none, because I would get dots over here, and I don't want that. So go ahead and we'll check again. This is a left tab, it has leaders. If I look at the 5.5, it's a right tab and it has leaders, and then go ahead and click OK. So you get those dot effects. If you, instead of putting the dots, just type them with the period, they wouldn't be even, they would be uneven. So it's better to use the tabs and actually select the option for leaders, and it's more exact. Select the 5 lines again, and we're going to add shading to this, and that's the tipped over paint bucket, and the color they're looking for is blue accent 1, but 80%. Blue accent 1, 80%. And then the highlighting goes too far out on the left margin as well as in the right. So what we're going to do, which is just the section that's highlighted, is move the left indent marker in so that it's not at the 1 inch. We're going to move it to the 3/4. So if you hold on the bottom box and drag it, that's 1 inch. This would be 3/4. And on the right side, we're going to, right now it's at 6 1/2. We're going to put it at 5 3/4. So it's not across the whole page. Then we'll choose, with it still selected, next to the shading is borders. So if you click the down arrow, we're going to select outside borders, and then we'll get to see what it looks like with an outside border. We'll select it again, and then we'll choose the down arrow for borders and choose no border, just so we can see with it, without it. And then what we're going to do is add a unique border. So go back to the borders arrow button for more options. Go to borders and shading, and then you'll choose box. So here's your sample of what you're getting. You want the style to be the double line. So there's the double line. And then the color is going to be that blue accent 1 darker 25%. And we want it a little bit thicker, so the width will be 3/4. Not much, but it's a little bit thicker. And then we'll click OK. And then if I deselect, you'll see the unique style of border that we decided to go with. The first line, go ahead and select it, and let's put that in bold so it stands out a little bit. And also change the color to that blue accent 1 darker 25%. So scroll down a little bit and put your cursor so that's flashing right above upcoming conferences, and we're going to insert a table. So click the Insert tab, Table, and we want 2 columns and 4 rows. So 2 by 4, and go ahead and click. And then in the very first one, we'll type platform. And then to get to the other side, press Tab, Marketing Goal. And again, Tab, do not press Enter. So using your tab, you continue to fill in each of the cells in both columns. And again, Tab moves you, so if I'm in Facebook and I press Tab, it moves me to the next cell, and so forth. Shift Tab goes backwards, so Tab goes forward. Now what I asked you not to do is press Enter, because it makes that cell larger. You use tabs to move along. Now when you're in the last one, website traffic conversions, to start a whole new one because you need an extra row, just press Tab and it immediately starts a new row. Go ahead and fill in the next 2 rows, and then go back to the Home tab and put your Show Hide markers on. So at the end of platform, you see a little symbol that shows that that's the end of the cell. There's nothing else in there. What you're going to do is hover right above Twitter, and you get a circle and a plus. That's an Insert Control button, and when you select that, you're going to get a blank row above Twitter. And then you'll type the next one, Snapchat, and again, Tab. This time you're going to use your pointer, the arrow, and you're going to select so that you're pointing both Instagram and LinkedIn, so that you're selecting 2 of them at the same time. And then up at the top you have Table Tools Design and Layout. Click the Layout tab and choose Insert Below. And you get, because you selected 2 rows, you get 2 more rows. Click anywhere in the WhatsApp row, and then you're going to choose Delete and Delete Row, and it'll delete the WhatsApp row. It deletes both cells. Select the 2 that you just created that are blank, and you can use the delete on the shortcut right margin to and choose Delete Rows. So you deleted those. So we just learned how to insert rows and then to delete the rows. Now we need to have another column after Marketing Goal. So if you go to the far right, you get that Insert Control button as well. And you're going to click that. And you're going to add another column. So I'm just going to undo that. The book actually wanted you to actually point so that with the arrow right above the top of the border of the table and click, and it selects the whole thing, and then you could choose Insert and you would choose Insert Right. I did the shortcut one. I think it'll accept it either way, but I'm going to fill this one in for you, and I'll catch you on part 2. Thanks.